Hello, it is I. Now, cars that look expensive are typically expensive. However, you'd be surprised to know that you can pick up depreciated cars that still look expensive today for a fraction of the price. So I decided to compile 10 examples of those cars in today's video. Now, a lot of people have made these sorts of videos with cheap luxury cars. Cars with JB recently made one with cars under 5 grand, but I'm going cheaper than that, much cheaper. So here are 10 super cheap cars under £2,000 which look pretty expensive. Now, before getting into this video, oh no, I'm sick. Oh, sick of you guys not pressing the like button, I see you there. 4,000 likes is the like target as per usual. It helps out the channel so much and it's free. And seeing as over half of you guys watching have not subscribed, make sure to join the family down below. We are on the road to 200k and I love having new faces here on the channel. Thank you very much, and now let's get to the first car, which is the MGTF. Now let's say you want a Toyota MR2, but want something that's slightly more classy. Well, that's where the MGTF comes to play. The TF is a mid-engine convertible sports car created by MG in 2002, and I think it's aged very well. For a car that's nearly 20 years old, it looks very modern and is a big step up from the much more aged MGF. Unfortunately, however, with it being a product from England, it's not exactly a reliable car. A notorious problem with these cars are blown head gaskets, so that is worth getting checked out. And build quality isn't great either, with reports of the roof leaking water into the cabin. That is not good. But if you find one in good nick, then you've got a great little car in your hands. Now, you would be better off in a much more reliable MX-5, but the TF is more masculine in a way. Am I allowed to say that without getting cancelled? Well, you know what I mean. It's a British mid-engine sports car. Of course there will be problems here and there, but you cannot deny that it's a bargain for under 2 grand. The Peugeot 607. A Peugeot? In a video of cars that look expensive? Well, yeah. But this isn't any old Peugeot. This is the 607, which is the S-Class of Peugeots. In fact, I'd say the Peugeot looks more expensive than the S-Class on the outside. It had a huge wheelbase with a massive boot lid and taillights that are so wide. I mean, just look at them. And the front is very reminiscent to the Mercedes CL, which is arguably one of the best looking marques ever created. The inside was also surprisingly expensive looking too, with its full leather interior, tidy center console, and very spacious cabin. All this for under 2 grand. In fact, I couldn't find one for over that. Unfortunately, however, the 607 had its fair share of electrical problems and is not very environmentally friendly. But regardless of those problems, you have to admit that the 607 is quite an expensive looking car, especially for under 2 grand. The Jaguar XK8. In 1996, Jaguar released their brand new XK8, a successor to the E-Type, except it was powered by a V8 motor. The engine produced 290 brake horsepower, and putting that in a car that weighed 1.7 tons meant the XK8 was in no way sporty. But it wasn't meant to be a sports car. It was a Grand Tourer, made to woof you along the road in comfort. Though the performance wasn't the biggest issue, the styling caused a lot of controversy too. When it was launched, people thought it looked like an Aston Martin DB7, which is pretty understandable. And unfortunately, they were very unreliable with poor build quality, and they only came as an automatic. But thanks to these flaws, they dropped in value massively, with some examples under 2 grand, which is very surprising for a V8 sports car. So is it smart to buy this car for under 2 grand? Definitely not. But does it look expensive? 100%. I can definitely see these becoming a future classic in a couple years time. The Daimler XJ6. Go from one Jaguar to another, except this one isn't exactly a Jaguar. Anyways, if you saw this car, you'd probably think it's a classic car out of a museum, which costs tens of thousands of pounds. While surprisingly, you can pick these up for under 2 grand. Under 1 grand in fact. That's stupid cheap, especially for a car that has all the luxuries that a typical classic car would come with, like leather seats, wooden trim, fluffy carpets. It's such an incredible car for 600 quid. Now you're probably thinking that this XJ6 is literally just an XJ without Jaguar badges. And yes, it is. But I wanted to include a Daimler into this video, seeing as I've already included a Jaguar and I don't want to repeat myself. So yeah, Daimler XJ6 or Jaguar XJ are great sub 2k cars that look expensive. If you saw one of these on the road, you would never think that they're 600 quid. The Alfa Romeo Brera. Now the Brera is actually a car I mentioned in this video of cheap cars that make you look rich for under 10 grand. And surprisingly, you could find Breras for under 2 grand too. So I had to include the Brera into this video as well. Anyways, the Brera is arguably one of the best looking cars you can buy out there, full stop. It has a pretty face, quad exhaust tips, and a fat back. And the interior is fabulous. There's something very Ferrari about it. Also, if you're lucky, then you'll be able to pick one of these up with a 3.2 litre Busso V6, which sound amazing. And just look at the thing. It looks so prestigious for a car that's cheaper than a MacBook Pro. Unfortunately, however, these Alfas are cheap for a reason, because they're very unreliable and require a lot of maintenance. But disregarding that, they are great little cars. Thus, the Brera had to make it into this video. Though I personally won't recommend buying a high mileage Alfa, they definitely do look more expensive than what they cost. The BMW 7 Series. Now, a cheap cars that look expensive video would not be complete without a 7 Series, seeing as they're in like every one of those videos ever. So yeah, 7 Series. A great car for $2,000, though it's expensive to maintain. The Mazda RX-8. In 2002, Mazda released their brand new sports car, the RX-8. And despite it being powered by a 1.3 litre engine, it was a serious bit of kit. And not only is it a sporty car, but it's practical too. Look, it comes with 4 doors. And it's extremely cheap too. When they were new, RX-8s were around $22,000, making it one of the cheapest coupes on the market at the time. However, now you could pick them up for less than 10% of that, at around $2,000. That's stupid cheap. Unfortunately, however, these RX-8s aren't too reliable, with apex seals in their rotary engine easily wearing out, which could result to the car needing a complete engine rebuild, and that is very expensive. But disregarding those reliability problems, you cannot deny that these look like they go for way more than $2,000. The Volvo S80. The S80 is an executive saloon car Volvo produced between 1998 and 2016. Now I know you guys are probably thinking the Volvo S80. Those are so common. Nobody would think that's expensive. Fair enough, you got a point. But the reason I mentioned the S80 is because I found an S80 limo on Auto Trader for under $2,000. Bargain of the century, how can you get a limo for under $2,000? The Chrysler Crossfire. In 2004, Chrysler rebodied a Mercedes SLK to look like a Chrysler. It was called the Crossfire, and you either hated it or pretended to like it. But regardless of what you think of the car, you cannot deny that you were surprised to see this in the video. I had no idea you could pick these up for under $2,000, but surprisingly you can. It was packed full of really cool gadgets and gizmos, such as the choice of a convertible roof, a retractable spoiler, and that's it I guess. But I can't think of any other car with these two options which you could pick up for under $2,000. However, the Crossfire is cheap for a very good reason, because it's cheaply made. The interior is just so disappointing for a car that's meant to be a sporty coupe. It's full of cheap plastic and ugly leather, and the steering wheel looks like it comes out of a minivan, but on the outside it does look like a car worth over $10,000 in my eyes. So despite it being not very well put together, the Crossfire had to make it into this video. The Vauxhall Omega. Now I was a little iffy about adding the Omega into this list, seeing as it's a Vauxhall, but despite it wearing that badge, something about it just screams boss status, and it's a rare car too. You could find really cheap examples for under $1,000 and decent examples for around $2,000. For that price you get comfy leather electric seats, a spacious cabin, wooden trim, and in my opinion a pretty decent car. Now I'm not sure if I'm the only one who sees this as a prestigious car, but whenever I see a black Omega driving, it just looks so baller to me. I don't know why. But what do you guys think of the Omega? Do you see it as a 5 Series competitor or just another old Vauxhall? Let me know in the comments down below and I'll be there. And that is the end of the video. I really hope you guys did enjoy this one. If you want to see more videos just like this one, then make sure to subscribe to the channel down below. We are trying to hit 200k by the end of this year, so any help will be greatly appreciated. Also make sure to leave a comment down below, it helps with the YouTube algorithm, and I'll try and get to as many of you as I can. Thank you very much, and I'll catch up with you guys very soon. Until next time, have a good one guys, stay safe, stay inside, until next time, cheers.
My dinero's what I'm out to get. Sombrero, I get hat and then I'm out again. Got an A1 Chica with a drive like a 3 litre, that's what she needs D4 like that.